Droplet is a platform that helps to facilitate community-led fundraising initiatives. We came up with this idea because we really wanted to be able to play a small part in the community, especially during COVID times. We were really inspired by the multitude of community-led initiatives that we've seen in Singapore. And we were lucky enough to find an organization called Migrant Mutual Aid. And what they basically do is they seek to redistribute resources from Singaporeans to migrant workers over here, and they serve them with a variety of different needs. So we were lucky enough to partner with them, and right now we are actually developing this application for them as part of our final project. And we are really excited to launch this for them.
After searching through Google on the bootcamp available in Singapore, Wagon was one of the top few bootcamps that was recommended by the alumni, also because the well-structured curriculum they have in the bootcamp, then also because of the instructors, the friendly instructors that are able to help us through all the challenges in this bootcamp.
The experience in Wagon has been an amazing learning journey for me. It can be actually very overwhelming, but I actually find myself keep coming back to the bootcamp to learn more. It provides a great environment, excellent teachers and support, very challenging practice, and an opportunity to actually work with a team on a real-life project. This actually helps to develop confidence in me that I can actually build a whole web application from the front end to the back end. And the teacher here is really very supportive and they care about the student very much. We even have yoga sessions that can keep our mental healthness fit. And I think most importantly, besides learning about technical skills and concept, I really learned the difference about building an application alone compared to building same application with a team, which actually helps to get the students to be job ready. So this is really a very enriching and fun learning journey for me.
So I would say get ready to be supercharged with a new skill that allows you to do many things after this bootcamp. But at the same time, I would say that come ready with a mindset of having 100% fun, but also being 100% committed to the bootcamp because of all these new things that you will learn. On the fun part, there's great food, there's great pizza, but there's also coding and camaraderie with the team. And at the same time, the intensity comes from having so much new knowledge being poured into your brain that will give you this great skill to help you market yourself to future employers.
How we came to this idea in the first place was that knowing we had a final project here in Wagon, we really wanted to take the opportunity to do something that would turn into something real, but at the same time also, amidst COVID times, we really wanted to see if we can play a little part to do something for the community. We were really actually inspired by the various different initiatives that have come up in Singapore, and we sort of really wanted to get involved. So what we did is we basically reached out to a bunch of different folks who were doing cool stuff here, raising money, putting together resources, and we managed to very luckily find an organization called Migrant Mutual Aid, and they are basically a community that's helping to redistribute resources from Singaporeans to migrant workers here. And what they do is they basically, they don't consider themselves a charity, but it's a really cool idea where they are really just trying to make the world a more equitable place, right? By giving those with more, giving a bit to the less, to those with less. Right? And basically, there are a variety of different needs that they serve for the migrant community. It ranges anything from medical bills that are not covered by insurance, to agent fees that have not been paid up yet, to even just your very basic food needs. And they've done this for a while now since COVID, and we really saw an opportunity to come in and understand from their point of view how things could be done better. They have a few pain points and inefficiencies that we were thankfully able to help them to plug, which my teammates will tell you a bit more about.
From a high-level perspective, there are actually multiple steps to getting workers, cases, and distributing some of these resources. So we see for Migrant Mutual Aid, the first thing that happens is that when there's a worker, they actually need to verify this worker. Upon verifying that this worker actually exists, they actually need to assign a coordinator from within MMA, Migrant Mutual Aid, to this worker. And after onboarding this worker, they actually need to update multiple documents, for example, an internal spreadsheet and also the external-facing website. And once this worker or this case is put on their website, the public is ready to contribute to this worker. And from there are also multiple steps. So from a high level, we can actually see there are multiple steps that are prone to errors in their process. So what we have actually done is to automate this process. I'll focus on three main areas. The first one being the collection and verification of cases. On the left is a Google form for workers to submit their cases. For example, a worker needs to pay hospital bills for a broken leg. That case is populated in Excel. There are multiple, say maybe 10 or 20, and Migrant Mutual Aid will go into the Excel and look for one case and choose to verify that case. That involves calling them, getting their IDs, their documents, their hospital receipts, and things like that. So this is quite a manual process done by them. The second area I'll focus on is the tracking of contributions and payments. When the case is put on a website, the public starts to contribute. There may be 100 or 200 people contributing to this individual case, and Migrant Mutual Aid themselves also need to update both the internal spreadsheet and the external-facing website for every of these people who has contributed. And that involves, as you can imagine, a lot of tracking of who has contributed, and there's possibly a risk of money getting lost in general. And the third thing I'll focus on is the broadcasting and updating of cases on social media. Migrant Mutual Aid needs to get the word out to get the public to contribute to these workers. And they currently do it on a very manual method, which is to craft a message and then post it on multiple social media platforms. What we have actually done is to automate this whole process. And we think that Migrant Mutual Aid actually should focus on talking to their contributors, talking to their workers, and that is where their specialty is. So what Droplet has done is actually to automate and streamline these multiple processes.
All right, so this is where the droplets come in. So when the team first log into droplets, they will be greeted by this page, which shows an overview of the case that they are handling. So we can see here we have information on the coordinators that is assigned to the case. Coordinators here refers to the volunteers of the team who is in charge of engaging with the public and the workers of the assigned case. So they help with coordinating with the payments and answering queries from the public. The start and end date here immediately can tell the teams how many more days they have left in order to raise the target fund. So we have case that is really time sensitive. So for example, workers really need this amount before they can really seek their medical treatments, surgeries, and we have bills that have due dates. Once contributions is received, it's immediately tracked and reflected on our color-coded progress bar instead of them having to actually manually update the progress bar. So this really aims to immediately bring the attention of the team to the case that is off track. So for example, if I have to raise $100 in 100 days, by day 50, I should at least have $50. If I only raise $10, it's way off track. So it actually tells the team to maybe need to put more effort on this case or find another way to raise more fund. And instead of having to comb through their different Excel sheet, which is clustered with different information of the case, this page really aims to bring them all the essential information of the case quickly to them so that they can prioritize their tasks effectively. And so a typical workflow for them will start with creating of new case. And upon receiving requests from the workers for support needs. And the team has mentioned that they receive a lot of cases at one go, and it's impossible for them to work everything at one go. So they have to shortlist them based on their criteria to see which one is more urgent and have to be prioritized. This shortlisted case will then have to go through their verification process, which start by calling the workers to understand their issues and collection of this list of documents. And currently, how they do it is they track their verification process in their Excel sheet. So for example, if they have caught the worker, they will mark a yes, if not a no, on the corresponding cell. So a person who have to check at which stage they are at have to scan through the Excel sheet, find a cell that is marked with no. So Droplet streamline this process, give them this checklist, whereby enable the team to actually upload all the documents as demonstrated in one page. So upon the thing is saved, this checklist immediately feedback very clearly to the team that highlighted row is already completed. They have already finished this step, and the team has to follow up with those that is not highlighted. So in the event, this case is actually hand over to another person in the middle of this process. The person can actually just look at this checklist and very quickly follow up with those that is not complete, the unhighlighted row, to complete the verification. All right, so now the case is already verified. It's time to get some public attention. So Droplet has this very handy feature whereby the team can select the case that's ready to be listed, and ta-da, all the case details is already pre-filled for them. All they have to do is just customize their message, and it will actually directly post on their Telegram channel. So from the message here, the public will be able to be redirected to the case gallery. So on the case gallery, they can browse by filter. So I want to look at medical, and then I'm actually interested to know more about help WH with his medical bill. I learn more, see what this page shows all the information of the case. I want to share it on my various social media platforms to help to increase the public awareness. And now I want to make a contributions. After making a contributions, I'm actually able to leave a word of encouragement. I also have the options to opt in to follow on this case, to receive the progress and the updates. So actually I'm aware of how my money has actually helped the worker. This kind of communication also increases the credibility and the authenticity of the organization. So now, if the team wants to send updates on their different cases, they might not want to spam their Telegram channel, because by doing so, it might actually overload their channels with different informations, such that the more important message, like the newly listed case or the urgent case, are all pushed to the top. So with Droplets, they are now able to just send updates of a specific case just to those contributors that choose to receive it. And on top of that, Droplets actually send weekly email alerts to coordinators, alerting them to those off-track cases. This really aims to inform the coordinators what cases they actually have to spend more attention on. So all these different features is really here to help achieve the goal of reaching the target amount by the end date. And so with Droplets, we really hope that it can take away the painful and tedious operational work for the self-help organization, provide them with monitoring tools that can manage their cases so that they can spend more of their time and energy with interacting with the public or formulating with strategies to actually drive contributions and public awareness.
Okay, so basically what you've seen here is the first iteration with what we've come up with, and we are far from done. There are a couple more things in the works that we want to put in to really have a meaningful impact. Things like supporting more forms of payments, making payments a lot faster so we can drive contributions up. We're also looking at different forms of communications in order for people to share the cases out there and really get the funds going for the migrant workers. I think to wrap this up, we are just really humbled by the efforts that we've seen this organization put in. They are actually also doing this part-time, right? They all have full-time jobs, and I think we were just really happy to be able to work with them and be a small part of this social change that they're trying to drive. And we'll be continuing to work with them, till we properly operationalize this thing. And to end off, I think on behalf of the team, I just want to again say really thanks to the instructors, right, Prima, Miguel, and the classmates as well, who've made this experience such a wonderful time, a great learning experience, very challenging, very funny, right, and really wouldn't have traded it for anything else. So thank you so much, everyone. Yep.
Kudos to this team for already building something that it's out there. So that's absolutely fantastic. Congrats to all of you.
Thank you.
Congrats, guys.